Hi friends, today's lesson is for close read number 4, How a Seed Grows. Our learning goal for this close read says, I can identify science words in an informational text. Now when we're talking about how seeds grow, of course we're going to think about the science end of it. Sometimes when you're reading an informational text and they use really specific scientific words, it might get a little tricky, or it might be difficult to picture those things in our good brain. So, like a good reader, we're going to use the illustration and the words to help us figure out what's happening in the story. Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and read this page. Wait for 3 days and then dig up seed number 1. It may be soft, it may be fat, maybe it will look the same as it did before. Soon the seed will grow so fat that the skin will pop off. In 2 more days, dig up seed number 2. Okay, so we just read about what could be happening with the seeds, and the question I have is, why do you think the author says the bean may? Like up here it says, it may be soft, it may be fat, maybe it will look like the same as it did before. Why do you think he's using the word may? Yeah, the author said may because not all beans are going to grow exactly the same or at the same speed, right? They're going to probably be about the same, but not exactly the same. So they might look different depending on when you take a peek at it. Awesome job. All right, let's keep reading. Now a root starts to grow. The root grows from one side of the bean seed. The root pushes down into the soil, down, or pushes down into the soil, down and down. Dig up seed number 3. Can you see the root? Does it look like this? If you do not see a root, wait for another day. Then dig up seed number 4. I like this because we're going in order of different seeds to check out where they are as they're growing. It's very cool. All right, so what questions does the author ask on this page? Well, the author asks 2 questions. Can you see the root, and does it look like this? Now, my question to you is, why do you think the author asks the reader questions? Yeah, I think so too. I think the author asks questions so that you can just makes the reader pause and think, I don't know, can I find the answer to that? Like the question, can you see the root? As the reader, when I read that, I was like, oh, I need to look over in this picture and see, can I see the root? Yeah, there it is, right there. And the next question says, does it look like this? Oh, yeah, I could match that right up to my bean seed and see if mine look the same. It helps me to stop and think about what I'm reading. Excellent. All right, on this page, I covered up the illustrations. I'm going to show you why. Day after day, the roots and root hairs push down into the soil. Day after day, the bean seeds are pushed up. The soil is pushed aside. Now here's the deal. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know what root hairs look like. Do you? No, I'm not going around talking about root hairs. That's like a scientific thing that we're talking about, specific to plants. I mean, some people might not even know what roots look like. So the author includes some very cool illustrations to help us out. All right, so we have to use our good eagle eyes and look carefully. And now I can see the text matches right up with the illustration. Hairs pushed down into the soil. Can you go ahead and point to where the hairs are, the root hairs? Yeah, I know because it's a picture here. And look, that does look like hair sticking off, right? Off the roots. Then down here it says, day after day, the bean seeds are pushed up. The soil is pushed aside. Can you point to the part where the bean seed is pushing up? Yeah, look at it's going right up out. And then the roots are pushing the soil aside. All right, I love that the author was sure to include illustrations that would match the text to help us understand what's happening with that science. Okay, our learning goal said I can identify science word in an informational text. Now what we did is we talked about the science and how the text and the illustrations help us to figure out what the author is talking about. Really helpful stuff. Now, this is your exit ticket, friend. What I would like you to do is I want you to read pages 20 and 21. And then I want you to fill out this word web. Page 20 and 21 talk all about the roots. I want you in the word web to fill in 4 things you learned about the roots on pages 20 or 21. All right? I can't wait to hear all of the science that you've learned about. All right, good luck, friends.